It's the 8th day of June here, 2022, in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. A very cold afternoon, it must be said, here, and we're coming to you live from our studios at iBrandTV. This is The Arena, and I'm Samson Olede. It is the midweek edition of the show, and it promises to be another exciting time with you out there talking sports on The Arena. Let's delve into it as quickly as we can, because the show is definitely loaded with several sporting activities and information for your use in terms of education, as well as keeping you abreast of what's happening in the world of sports. We start definitely with the African 2023 Nations Cup qualifiers, AFCON 2023 qualifiers. You had Senegal in action yesterday against Rwanda, and though on paper Rwanda were meant to be at home, it was Senegal who was playing at home in Dakar as a result of Rwanda not being able to play at their home ground. But the Senegalese won that by a lone goal, courtesy of Sadio Mane scoring a late penalty yet again. Remember, Sadio Mane scored a 97th minute penalty in the opening game of the Senegalese when it comes to the African Cup of Nations, which they won earlier this year. The same thing happened when Sadio Mane scored the decisive penalty to send Senegal to their second successive World Cup appearance and third in total. So here again, Sadio Mane coming up clutch once again for his team regarding the qualifiers, getting the only goal of the game in the 98th minute of that encounter. So it's Senegal who have 2 wins from 2. Remember, all 4 goals they've scored have been scored by Sadio Mane. The 3-1 win in the first game, Mane had a hat-trick, and now the lone goal in this as well. Mane scored the only goal. Just shows you how valuable and seemingly indispensable he is to the Senegalese national team. But it's Senegal who are topping the group, haven't started perfectly. 2 wins from 2 games, and more importantly, they're 5 points clear of their nearest rivals when it comes to the league, the table. Remember, the top 2 teams are the ones that will qualify for the African Cup of Nations 2023 taking place in Ivory Coast, which is next year. Let's see if the Senegalese will be able to defend their title successfully over there. And I'm rest assured that whatever it is, it will be Sadio Mane calling the reins. You have to give credit to the Rwandans who also made the game competitive, but overall it was about the golfing class for the Senegalese. They had a few chances that they should have won within regulation time in terms of the 90 minutes rather than making it go into the added time. But overall, Sadio Mane coming up clutch, and they made that count. Now let's delve to the shores of Europe. Talking about the UEFA Nations League that is ongoing. Last night we had a blockbuster between Germany and England, and that ended in a stalemate as Harry Kane's late penalty ensured that England clinched their first points in this group this season. Talking about the UEFA Nations League. And for Kane, it was also his 50th goal for the Three Lions, or that's the England national team, putting him just 3 goals behind Wayne Rooney, who is the highest goal scorer in the history of England. So it's Germany 1, England 1, and for Germany, it was a match where they took the lead courtesy of Hoffenheim's early strike in the second half, but they just couldn't hold on till the end, as they considered a VAR given penalty for Kane to slot in the equalizer. For England, it makes the task more difficult, considering they lost their first game of the Nations Cup to Hungary by a lone goal. So when it comes to the group itself, it's the Italians who are topping. You have Hungary second with 3 points. Germany also drew against Italy in their opening game. So it's 2 successive draws for the Germans, but the English national team are at the bottom of the table with a solitary point, courtesy of that late penalty from Harry Kane. Talking about Group A3, it must be said, we'll have to also address the other match we had yesterday, which is Italy against Hungary. The Italians ran out 2-1 winners over that. In fact, they scored all 3 goals because you had Mancini, scoring into the wrong side of the net when it comes to Hungary's goal. But it was Barella as well as Pellegrini who scored the goals for Italy to give them a comfortable 2-0 lead before Mancini unfortunately put one into his own net to make the match a bit edgy for the Italians. They had chances as well to convert and make the match seemingly more comfortable for them, but they were profligate in front of goal, and luckily for them, they didn't have to pay dearly for that. So the Italians trying to bounce back from the scandal of missing out at the World Cup taking place in Qatar following that semi-final playoff defeat to North Macedonia, as well as the disastrous or dismal performance against Argentina in the final, or the Finalisma 2022, where Argentina ran out 3-0 winners. So the Italians are topping Group A3 with 4 points, and Hungary, as I said earlier, have 3 points courtesy of their win over England in the opening game. So Germany 2, England 1. All 4 teams have played 2 games, and it's the race for the top 2 to be able to progress to the next round. Let's see how that pans out. It's going to be a very competitive one, and Hungary would definitely be, a stubborn nut to crack in that sense. Tiger Woods has not committed to playing in the 54 Invitational Series. In fact, he has reiterated his commitment to PGA Tour. The latest about Tiger Woods is he has ruled himself out of participating at next month's major, which is the US Open, the 150th edition of the US Open at St. Andrews. And the American golfer is saying his body needs to be strong enough. It's not, his body has not recovered from the life-threatening, accident he had last year. Although he made a remarkable comeback at Augusta this year, he had to quit during the USPGA Championship, which is the second major of the year, after just 3 rounds, as his body began to break down. So we wish Tiger Woods the very best in terms of fitness, and we hope that he's able to get back to competitive golf as quickly as he can. But at the US Open next month, which is the 3rd major of the year, Tiger Woods will not be participating. As we wrap up the show now, let's talk about tennis, and we have to talk about Alexander Zverev. The latest about Zverev is that he has undergone a successful surgery, I beg your pardon, to repair the torn ligaments in his right ankle. Remember, all 3 lateral ligaments in his right ankle, the German tore them when it was playing against Rafael Nadal in the semi-final of the French Open. As a result, he had to leave the court on wheelchair before coming back on crutches, and that he just couldn't walk. But as a result of the successful surgery, he's definitely out of Wimbledon, and it's yet to be seen when he will come back in terms of competitive tennis. We wish him all the best as well. Well, let's take you through now through some sports business news, and we'll have starts with the National Football League, talking about the NFL. Now, the Denver Broncos have been sold to an investment group led by Walmart heir Rob Walton for a record $4.65 billion, which is a record price for a North American sports franchise. On 7th June, which was yesterday, the National Football League team announced that a sale agreement had been reached with the group, which also includes Walton's daughter, Carrie Walton Penner, her husband, Greg, and Melody Hobson, the co-chief executive of Ariel Investments. The deal, which remains subject to approval by the NFL's Finance Committee and then a vote by league owners, is expected to be completed within 90 days. Walton, the eldest son of Walmart founder Sam Walton, whose net worth is estimated at $59 billion, emerged as the frontrunner to acquire the Broncos earlier this year, after his group was one of 4 that advanced to a second round of bidding. Now, the Broncos sale price more than doubles the previous record sum paid for an NFL franchise, and that record was previously held by the Carolina Panthers, who were bought by David Tepper for $2.3 billion in 2018. Still talking sports business news at this time, top-flight English football side Wolverhampton Wanderers have named Astropay as their main shirt sponsor for next season. The payment solutions provider, which has offices in the UK and Latin America, claims to have more than 6 million users globally, was an official partner of the Premier League club for the 2021-2022 campaign, but that has been upgraded, talking about the deal ahead of the new season. The agreement, which covers Wolves' men's and women's and academy teams, as well as all replica kits, will see Astropay take over the inventory from ManBetX. The betting brand had sponsored the club's shirts since 2019. Now, although financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, Wolves' previous agreement with ManBetX was reportedly worth £8 million per season, and this is said to be an improvement of that. Astropay's contract also covers the playing shirts of Wolves' European esports teams, which the pair said was an important factor in agreeing the deal. The club has competitive gaming outfits across titles such as FIFA, Rocket League, as well as Fortnite.